The drama surrounding Week 3 took on a whole new life the moment word spread that Jaden Daniels might not be on the field Sunday. Suddenly, the entire outlook of this matchup between the Raiders and the Commanders shifted. Daniels, the rookie quarterback Washington has staked its future on, is nursing a knee sprain that has kept him sidelined in practice all week. That leaves the very real possibility of Marcus Mariota stepping under center, setting the stage for what some have already branded a revenge game. But here's the reality. If Washington is forced to lean on Mariota, the Raiders have been handed a golden opportunity they simply cannot squander. Because through 2 weeks, one truth has been obvious. Patrick Graham's defense is ahead of schedule. This unit has played with grit, discipline, and resilience, holding both the Patriots and the Chargers under control and ranking among the top defenses in the league. They've done their job. The same cannot be said for the offense. Mistakes, penalties, an inconsistent ground game, those issues have slowed the Raiders' progress. But with Washington potentially missing their franchise quarterback and hobbling into Sunday with injuries to key weapons, this is about as favorable an advantage as the NFL ever hands out. For Washington, the injury report is grim. Daniels hasn't taken a snap in practice. Head coach Dan Quinn himself admitted that Friday would be the earliest possibility for him to return, hardly a recipe for confidence heading into Sunday. And the problems don't end there. Wide receiver Noah Brown hasn't practiced. Tight end John Bates, their most reliable blocker at the position, has been dealing with issues. Even Deebo Samuel, the splashy trade acquisition designed to give Daniels another dynamic option, has been banged up. That means the Commanders are potentially walking into a fight against one of the league's hottest defensive units without their quarterback, missing a pass catcher, and hoping their patchwork lineup can hold. That's a recipe for survival mode, not dominance. Now shift the focus back to Las Vegas. The Raiders sit at 1-1. Week 1 brought a win over the Patriots. Not flawless, but steady enough. Week 2 was ugly. Against the Chargers, the offense collapsed. Turnovers piled up, and yet somehow the game was still within reach late because the defense refused to fold. That kind of resilience speaks volumes. It tells you the Raiders have the backbone of a competitive team, and it's exactly the foundation you need when walking into a game like this. So how do you handle Mariota? The formula is simple and familiar. Keep him in the pocket. Make him beat you with his arm. Because Mariota, at this stage of his career, is a known quantity. He can still move, still extend plays, still hurt you if you fall asleep. But the moment you force him into a rhythm-passing game, cracks begin to show. He's not built to consistently sustain long drives, and that's where the Raiders have to strike. That pressure starts up front. Thomas Booker, an unheralded name coming into the season, has quickly become one of the most consistent defensive tackles in football through 2 weeks. Malcolm Kuntz has elevated his game. Tyree Wilson, though still developing, has flashed real promise. And of course, everything on this line begins with Max Crosby. Crosby hasn't dominated in quite the same relentless way we've come to expect through the first 2 weeks, but no one questions the standard he holds himself to. And this, against a battered line and a quarterback who doesn't want to sit in the pocket, is the perfect opportunity for him to reset the tone. Behind them, the linebackers have been electric. Devin White has brought veteran energy, Jermaine Pratt has been steady, and perhaps the most surprising of all has been Jamal Adams. Back-to-back weeks, Adams has graded out as one of the best defenders on the field. Physical, disruptive, proving doubters wrong with every snap. That's the exact kind of intensity you need in a matchup where Washington is likely to lean on quarterback draws, checkdowns, and RPO wrinkles. If the linebackers stay sharp, Mariota's bag of tricks will shrink quickly. In the secondary, things are less perfect, but encouraging. Eric Stokes looked strong last week, and lining him up against Deebo Samuel, if Samuel plays, makes sense given the physicality of the matchup. Jacorian Bennett or Quinterio Cole-Kelly on Terry McLaurin feels logical too, though McLaurin's ability to create separation remains a concern. Still, the strategy doesn't need to be complicated. Keep everything in front. Prevent the home run. Force Mariota to methodically string together 10-play drives. That's not his comfort zone, and over time, mistakes will come. Offensively, though, the conversation changes. The Raiders' defense has shown it can carry its weight, but if the offense doesn't rise to the moment, none of it will matter. Geno Smith was excellent in Week 1, carving up New England with efficiency and poise. In Week 2, he looked lost. 3 interceptions, forcing throws, no rhythm, no confidence. If the Raiders want to turn the corner, Geno has to bounce back, and this is the perfect chance to do it. Dan Quinn's defense in Washington will try to muddy the picture. He'll take away the deep shots, keep safeties high, force Geno to dump it off underneath. And that's where Geno's discipline has to shine. The temptation to go for the jugular has been his downfall. The key is patience. Hit the checkdowns. Take the 5-yard completions. Feed Jakobi Meyers on third downs. Let the tight ends exploit mismatches.
Do that, and the big plays will naturally present themselves without the risk of turnovers. Jakobi Meyers has already proven himself as Geno's safety net.
He should see another heavy workload. Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, when both on the field, give the Raiders an opportunity to run more 2 tight end sets, and that matters because Washington has been dreadful against tight ends. In just 2 weeks, they've surrendered 175 yards to the position, one of the worst marks in the league. That's an opening the Raiders can't ignore. But the run game, that's the heartbeat that has to be revived. Right now, the Raiders rank near the bottom of the league in rushing attempts, rushing yards, and efficiency metrics. That's a recipe for disaster if it doesn't change. Ashton Jeanty has flashed explosiveness, but he hasn't been given the workload to impose himself. That has to change. Even if it's not glamorous, even if it's 3 or 4 yards at a time, running the ball steadies the offense, controls the tempo, and keeps Geno from feeling the need to press. Against a Washington defense that has given up over 100 rushing yards per game, there's no excuse not to lean on Jeanty and the ground attack. Special teams might end up swinging things too. Daniel Carlson has remained automatic, and in what figures to be a low-scoring physical contest, his reliability could prove decisive. Punter A.J. Cole, however, needs to find his form again. Too many touchbacks have dulled his edge, and when you're being paid as the league's premier punter, those are the moments where you earn it. Field position will be critical. Prediction? This feels like a grinder. Both defenses show up. The Raiders' offense finds just enough balance to keep the Commanders on their heels. Jeanty sees more carries. Meyers moves the chains. Bowers and Mayer chip in with timely catches. And on the other side, Mariota presses, forced into mistakes by a front that refuses to let him escape. The Raiders' defense delivers at least 1, maybe 2 takeaways. And that's the difference. Raiders 20, Commanders 16. A slugfest. Not always pretty. But in the NFL, style points don't matter. Wins do. And if the Raiders want to prove they're a team making real progress instead of hovering in mediocrity, this is the type of game they absolutely must win. So what do you think, Raider Nation? Can Geno Smith bounce back and lead this team to 2-1? Or will Marcus Mariota find a way to spoil the opportunity? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more breakdowns every week.